All right. First of all, I'd like to thank Sunrise Network for having me today and my podcast here in the Snack Attack studio. And our guest today, look at this. We got Jonathan Little. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this man. For those who don't know, he's won over 9 million in career earnings, according to the Hendon Mob. Last year, he won the Poker Go Cup. He forgot to bring it today, but that's okay. But you know what? Anytime you win a tournament inside the Poker Go studio, you're playing the best of the best. And that means you're one of the best. I'm telling you right now, you are. So he also, on September 30th, he won the Masters tournament, first place for $226,000.
I was lucky to win three tournaments in the Poker Go studio last year. It was a good run.
Dude, that's fancy. How many people can say that? Not many.
Not a lot.
No,
maybe
exactly.
Maybe just a few. Maybe I'm decent at poker.
You're the man. You're the man.
Poker tournaments are tough, though, because a few years prior to that, I wasn't playing quite as much. And in the Poker Go studio, I had a bunch of 5th and 7th places. And it's like I get deep, lose an all-in, and you're out. Yeah. Only a snack, no buffet. And this last year, things started clicking. And sometimes you run hot. And you got to realize there's a lot of variance in poker. Don't get too cocky whenever you're winning, and don't get too depressed when you're losing, because wins come and go.
You know, I'm online. I see, and I follow you on Facebook and stuff. You had a picture of you winning that last year. Let the crowd out there know how you felt, knowing that you really beat the best of the best. I mean, that's got to make you feel wonderful and give you a lot of encouragement to play more. You know, all that stuff combines into a win, right?
For sure. I think most poker players, especially in the Poker Go studio, have kind of taught themselves to not get too high when things are going great, and to not overly celebrate when things are going great, because, I mean, then you get cocky. And I think in poker, either the best players skew very overly cocky, and they have to play up to that cockiness level, or they skew very, they like lack thinking they're the best player ever. They have to work really hard to be the best they can be. I guess they lack self-confidence, if anything. So I think I err towards lacking self-confidence, and it just makes me want to study more and play more and do the best I can. And whenever I am playing against the best players in the world, I'm not really thinking about that so much, because that'll psych you out. Instead, I'm just thinking, I'm going to play this hand to the best of my ability. I'm going to do it every single hand I play. And then you either win or you lose. But if you make better decisions than your opponents over and over and over again, eventually the money will trickle in your direction.
I believe I mentioned to you this before, but I'm going to let all of my subscribers hear this. I played the main event in 2017. Now, I know he doesn't remember because he's the pro, and I was my first time in a main event. But I was at your table for 2 or 3 times, and one of them was actually, I believe, a TV table. And there was this foreign player they were playing crazy, man. They were re-raising, 3-betting with nothing. And you watched us and seen what was going on. Then you got involved, and you started kicking their damn ass. I know you probably don't remember it, but do you have any idea? Do you kind of remember it?
I mean, I remember
I know it's a long time ago, but
I don't remember that exact instance, but I remember plenty of times in the World Series, there would be someone who's just playing absolutely nuts. They're just trying to win literally every pot they play. Yeah. And whenever they try to win every pot they play, you just sit there, make a pair, ideally middle pair, top pair, something better, check a lot, and then just do not fold. What a lot of people do wrong against the crazy people is they check call the flop, check call the turn, then they go all in on the river, like, oh, I only got middle pair, I guess I have to fold. But no, that's the nuts against the crazy people. Call it, and sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but it's always nice when that happens.
Yeah, I had to deal with that too, because I was at your table. And I think you just got moved. Yeah, you just got moved from my table. And that nut was still at my table. And I tried to sucker him into, I had pocket tens. And he's raising every damn hand. I'm like, God, this is where I'm going to get him right here. And he raised. Next thing I know, we're all in pre-flop. All right, I'm thinking, I'm not going to let him bluff me out of this hand. But he happened to pick up pocket kings.
Even maniacs get dealt a hand every once in a while.
But I will tell you this. That river came 10 of clubs, and I still ain't forgot it. And that was back in 2000. I was like, yeah! And he cussed his ass off. But you know what? I was like, first of all, when that happens and you walk into that and you know the guy's playing every damn hand, and I finally get a hand to stand up to him, and there I am, cold jacked, but I got that 10. I don't forget neither. It was the club, 10 of club. I was like, yeah. And boy, that really shot me up the leaderboard because it wasn't like I was low in chips. I had over 200,000 at that time. I believe it was day two. Okay. So it shot me up the leaderboard, but I had to keep calling the floor because he kept cussing at me because I just went, yeah. And it was my first time in it. But that's when I actually first got to kind of get to know you because I don't know how it happened, but we were in the same table 2 days in a row. You don't remember it because I was a nobody then. Just little Clyde. And by the way, I had my black hat on, my black cowboy hat on. When I play big tournaments, I like to wear my Stetsons.
Nice. I
Uh,
mean, look, so I don't have a good memory at all when it comes to anything poker related, which I've talked to a lot of pros. Either they remember everything or they remember nothing. And I guess I skew towards the nothing side. And whenever I go play poker, win or lose, when I wake up the next day, I have completely forgotten it. It is gone from my brain. I just show up and play my best again the next day. And I think that again helps you not get too high or too low because if I lose 12 days in a row, I don't really care that much. And if I win 12 days in a row, I don't really care that much. I just wake up and do my best again. But so I mean, I don't remember what happened the last poker tournament I played. I honestly have no clue how I lost. This is what it is. It's gone.
what you're saying, since I've let it go, which is what I call it, and that was like a year ago. Once I kept thinking, it's just my luck, bullshit, I'm dead again. Once I got that negativity out of me, I started running deeper and cashing better. So I pretty well went over that hurdle, which took me a long time. Now, when I first started playing, I was I was a pissed off little fucker, man. I'm telling you, I ain't kidding you. So what the hell you call that for? You son, you can't play. That's how it used to be. And I'd leveled off, but at first it was like that for me. Was you like that when you first started playing? Like, man, what the hell do you call for? What's going on? Because that's how I was. And by the way, sorry for all those I yelled at, but you know, it is what it is, I guess.
I think a lot of people do get angry when they lose for all sorts of reasons. And like Phil Hellmuth, he doesn't like losing when his opponents play poorly. But you want your opponents playing poorly. And in the beginning, I would be typing nonsense in the chat online, like I think pretty much everyone did when they were young and stupid. And but you mellow out very quickly, especially once you realize you really, really, really want the bad players at your table. You want them playing poorly, and you want them making mistakes. Look, to win at poker, you got to do three things. You got to do three things only. You got to find a game you can beat, which means finding bad players to play against, or getting really good at poker so that you can compete with anyone. Next, you got to play the game a lot. You have to put your butt in the chair and play it a lot because they are going to suck out on you sometimes. They're going to run hot sometimes, and that's okay, right? But if you do it a million times, you're going to be the one who wins if you're playing better than them. And then you got to keep a proper bankroll, right? Like if you go and play the main event one time in your life and you lose it, it's going to be devastating because that was like your one shot in your head and you're not going to get another one anytime soon. And it's sad and depressing. But if you play a lot of games and they're all roughly the same buy-in and you have 100 buy-ins or more to the point that losing 1 or 5 or 10 just doesn't matter, you'll be able to stay very, very level-headed when you're playing no matter what, pretty much, and make better decisions.
Well, you guys just learned something there. All those watching, no, seriously. Uh, the one thing I know that I'm never going to have trouble with because it's not happened to me yet. I won't let it because of what you just mentioned there. I don't overdo buy-ins where it's going to break my bankroll. Okay. Other than the main event, and then I usually no wait a minute, it doesn't bankroll me though
Sure.
because I got everybody wants to get a piece of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually getting 60-70% of my own buy-in, and someone's getting pieces of me. So it isn't like it's $10,000, but I'm never gonna overdo it to where I just won't let that happen.
Yeah, well, look,
I,
so if people are in a situation like yours where people want to have your action, I would recommend everyone go play the World Series main event because it's a super soft tournament in general. It's a great experience for the player, for you, right?
yeah.
And imagine you do go there and you sell 90% of yourself and you play for $1,000. it's better than not playing it, right?
Boy, ain't that the truth? Ever since I played it in 2017, I want to play it every year.
So find people to take your action.
I've played it 4 times now. I believe 4 times. Um, the very next year in 2018 when I played it, man, I was flopping a set left and right, and they kept running me down. And it happened so much, I was actually knocked out in day one.
Well, it happens.
And usually I play just good hands at first until I get the feel of the table, get everyone's ranges, how they are. And but that day, God, just like you said, you just got to let it go. But back then I couldn't quite let it go. But
Oh yeah.
But that's what happened to me back then. But if you've never played the main event, you definitely out there, if you did it one time, and I don't care if you get knocked down one day, it's an experience you'll never forget.
Right, but so what a lot of the best players do is they try to play roughly the same average buy-in in most tournaments they play. So say you want to play $5,000 buy-in tournaments. Let's just pretend, because your bankroll for that, that's what I want my action to be. If you go play a tournament like the tournaments in the Poker Go studio, maybe you sell 50% of yourself to all the 10Ks and like 67% to the 15Ks and then 80% for the 25Ks.
Okay.
So every tournament's just a 5K. Nothing's really changed. Even though the money is bigger, it's not bigger for you. And like for the main event, say you're bankrolled for $500 tournaments. And you want to go to the World Series and play a bunch of $500 tournaments and the main events, sell 95% of yourself and play it like a 500. And that way it's not emotionally destructive when things go poorly.
Yeah,
You just got to stay. I mean,
I don't usually sell that much though. I want
matter.
it. If I win, I'm set for a while. I mean,
if you win the main event for $10 million, but you only get to keep 500K, it's better than not playing it.
I agree. Believe me, I wish I could play them every year, but I'm full time at Aria, and I can't just take off 15 days to play.
Well, luckily it's only 1 or 2 normally.
No, I go longer than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, about this man right here, I'm going to show you what he's got here. Okay, you give me this. Man teaches poker. Let him know what all you do here.
This is a book that you need if you play poker tournaments. Secrets of Professional Tournament Poker, The Essential Guide. It is a complete walkthrough of everything you need to know to play no-limit hold'em poker tournaments. Check it out. It's a good book.
You can buy these books too.
You can buy Amazon. D&B Poker is the publishing company. They publish a lot of the best poker books that are printed. It's my job to curate a lot of their content, and this is a great book. Check it out.
I can't wait to check it out and read it. Once again, I want to thank you. You might want to consider this if you really want to get into poker and play for tournaments.
Oh, listen, if people are new to poker and they don't really play much at all, I have a 2.5-hour free crash course online at pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. Completely free crash course. If you don't even know what a deck of cards is, it's going to take you from not knowing what a deck of cards is to being able to compete with your non-professional poker playing friends. You can go to home games, you can have fun, and you can enjoy the game. So pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. And then from there, I have the website pokercoaching.com that'll really take it to the top.
Wow. And, once again, I know this sounds like a broken record, but all those people that are following me and are on my YouTube page, ask me all these questions, bam, there's your answer again. I mean, even if you don't even know what an ace of spades looks like, this man can help you.
Yes.
Poker's great. And once you get hooked on it like me, I mean, you're going to not want to quit playing. I had one time where I thought, you know what? I'm never lucky. I should quit. But guess what? There ain't no damn way. I know too much now. I feel I'm too good to just done. So if you want to get into poker, you want to get on Jonathan's free thing. That'll let you know what, even like I said, if you don't even know what the ace is, you're going to find out. And I've dealt to this man plenty of times. And I've dealt to you when you won that, actually, last year when you won the Poker Go Cup. I was part of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
But next time, put me in the photo.
Yeah. Well, you finally didn't beat me out of the tournament. You busted me the other day, I think.
I did. I've seen.
I don't even remember. So I don't even remember what happened, but
I'll tell you what happened. You had pocket nines, remember?
No.
Yeah, and he had king queen suited.
Wow, 50-50.
and I put him a queen on the flop though.
No, thank you for
But
that.
that's what happened.
You gave the opponent my snack.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'll pay you back.
Take that away.
I'll pay you back. I'll give you a snack there, son. That's what I'll do.
But yeah, look, I mean, so an issue with a lot of the good poker training content that exists online today is that it's not really made for very beginning players at all. It's made for people who already kind of understand poker. And that's why I made the fundamentals course, because there's not really any sort of really good crash course to go from not knowing poker at all to being okay at poker. And that's what it's for people who are kind of new to the game, and it's free. You know, I don't want your money to teach you the basics. That's not what we're trying to do here.
Hey, what made you come up with that? That brings more people into the poker world. What
Yeah.
made you think about that?
People would come to me and say, "Hey, I'm new at poker. Where should I start?" And on my training site, the answer is I don't have anything for people who don't know what a deck of cards is and don't know the hand rankings and don't know the rules. And so I made it. Simple as that.
Okay. And once again, a lot of people ask me this question. There's your answer. And
it's free, quick, easy.
Free.
It's a 2.5 hour long video series, but it's broken into 10-minute videos with quizzes after each video to make sure you're really understanding what you're getting. It's interactive, and it'll get you a decent.
Man, I bet you had fun doing that.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, on pokercoaching.com, we have a tournament course and a cash game course that are about 40 hours long each in that same style of 10-minute video quiz, 10-minute video quiz. And we're linking up a game theory optimal solver behind it to let you be able to practice and train after each video as well.
Wow.
It's how you get good at interactive learning. I mean, the problem with a lot of educational content in general is like, here, watch this video and go do it. But that doesn't really work. To watch an hour video, you're going to fit most of the stuff in the middle of it anyway. You need short videos with training right after it. And if you do that over and over and over again, you'll get pretty good pretty quick.
Wow. You might want to sign up for those folks, even those who have already known a little bit about poker, because this man knows what he's talking about. He's won over $9 million in tournament earnings, and that's pretty good shit. I wish I could win $9 million.
Don't worry, I used it all to buy into more tournaments. It's okay.
I hear that a lot. Here's some more. What would you say is your best game, Jonathan?
No Limit Hold'em. I mean,
Okay.
that's the game I play the vast majority of the time. I think in the past, proportionally compared to the field of players, I was better at Pot Limit Omaha back when that was kind of a new game.
Okay.
But as people have devoted their life to Pot Limit Omaha over the last 10 years, they've gotten better. But I was quite good at PLO compared to the field back in the day. Maybe I was like a 92 out of 100, and everybody else was like a 20 out of 100. Whereas in No Limit, everybody's like an 80 out of 100, and I'm like a 99 or something, you know? So proportionally, I think I was better at PLO, but now it's definitely No Limit Hold'em.
I've been playing for a long time. You've been playing for a long time. And today, the players are so much better from when back then. I believe that makes it harder to win a tournament, that in itself. Would you agree with that one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as edges get smaller, it becomes essentially more luck-based, right? Because imagine we're all equally skilled, then we're just effectively flipping coins, right? So yeah, the game's definitely gotten tougher over time. But at the same time, as poker gets random boost of popularity, new players come into the game, and sometimes they're not all that good. But it is far easier to learn poker today than it was 15 years ago. I mean, when I started playing 20 years ago, there were only a few books on the game that were decent, and most of the other books were terrible, and there were no training sites or solvers or anything like that. So sorry for making the game tougher with the training site, but now at least everybody can get into the game quick and easy.
All right. Once again, I deal poker not just in Poker Go, but everywhere. But when I deal in Poker Go, everyone is so damn good that they actually need a cooler or a bad beat to hurt them. That's how I'm serious.
A lot of the time, when players are very good, it is all luck essentially. And if you think about where the money comes from in high stakes poker tournaments, usually the good players are all winning some small amount, like 5 or 10% return on investment. So you buy in for 10,000, maybe you're going to make 500 or $1,000 on average. And that's how you have to view it. You have to view it. I'm not going to go in there and try to win 200,000. You're going to get $500 out this day, and you're going to play for like 3 or 4 hours on average. You're going to make 100-something bucks an hour, give or take. It's not huge money, but that money is coming from the recreational players who are maybe losing 20 or 30% each. But if there's only 5 recreational players in the field and they're losing 30% each, that's only 1.5 buy-ins total to get divided by all the pros in the field, right? And certainly some pros are better than other pros and whatnot, because some pros are losing a tiny bit, some are winning a tiny bit, some are winning more. But that's roughly how you have to view it. Like when I go play a tournament, I'm not thinking, oh, I went and I played and I lost $10,000 today. I don't care about that at all. I'm thinking I'm going to go play my best. I'm going to extract whatever my return on investment is. It might take me 2 days. It might take me 1 minute if I get in on the first hand and lose. But I went there. I did my best. I extracted the ROI, and I'm done.
Wow. Um, is the 10,000 no limit hold'em tournament the biggest buy-in you've ever played in?
What do you mean? No, I mean, I've,
Is
I've
hold'em?
no,
Yeah.
I've played a
Wait,
300.
I don't know why I'm asking you that. You played in the 25,000.
No, I think I've
Stupid.
played a $300,000 tournament once in Poker Go Studio. I bubbled that. I got it in with aces against queens. That was fun. I bubbled a 200,000 pound tournament in England once. I got in with aces against jacks. That was fun. So I've not done especially well in my biggest buy-in
Wow.
tournaments, which has been rather frustrating. But again, it's how it goes. I only played a few, right? Which is why I'm saying
Okay.
you got to play a lot. Find a game you can beat.
Yeah.
I did that. Played a lot. Didn't do that. Keep a proper bankroll. I was bankrolled enough, and I sold a bunch of action in them anyway. But
Wow.
you don't get to control when you win or lose. As an example of that, I have 0 World Series of Poker bracelets. 0, despite playing a decent amount. But if you go and play all the no limit hold'em tournaments, you'll get a bracelet once out of every 8 or 9 or 10 years on average. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Whereas on like the World Poker Tour, I've won 2 tournaments out of like 80 I've played or something, right?
Yeah.
Which is 1 out of 40, which is amazing, right? And in Poker Go Studio, I've done quite well. But not until just this last year, right? So there's a lot of variance in the
I see
game.
what you're saying.
And
Yeah.
especially when the fields get very big, you're just going to have a ton of
Yeah.
variance. It's hard to win a 1,000-person tournament.
Yes, it is. Damn.
You don't
True.
get to control when you win, though. And that's why it's important to make sure you are properly bankrolled for whatever game you're playing. And it's important to put in a very good amount of volume.
Do you play cross seas at all?
I mean, I used to a lot more before COVID happened. They used to have more like European Poker Tour stops back then. I mean, I went to the Bahamas this year and last year for the,
Okay.
I don't even know what it was for. World Series of Poker, Party Poker, I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, something like that.
No,
I-
I have not really been to Asia much to play, but I used to play a decent amount in Europe.
Oh, okay. I've been nowhere.
No.
I'm sure
Well,
you and not.
get up and go.
Just in the United States, the only place I played.
So the issue today is that the Poker Go Studio is so comfortable, and they have
It is.
lots of events. They're all televised or streamed, so they give good publicity for me and my training site, and a lot of my other coaches on my training site play in the Poker Go Studio on a regular basis. So I don't know. I'm not in the mode of life where I need to go and play poker all day, every day like I used to. Now maybe I play 10 days out of the month, and I work on the poker training site the rest of the time. And so I have to be choosy with the tournaments that I play, and I'd much rather play Poker Go Studio events than pretty much anywhere else.
I had Shannon Shore on my show. He talked about how he got into poker with you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys go to college or something together? Or what's the story with that?
We did not go to college together, but he was from Birmingham, Alabama. I was from Pensacola, Florida. They are not too far away.
No.
We never knew each other in person. We actually met online in the Party Poker Sit and Goes. There were $200 buy-in Party Poker Sit and Goes, and there were maybe 10 good players and a bunch of recreational players. I was good. He was good. We were playing a lot, but he was always berate the bad players in the chat. Every time he would get unlucky, kind of like you. And one day I told him in the chat, like, hey, stop berating the bad players. He's like, why? I'm like, because you want the bad players here. And then we started chatting on America Online Instant Messenger a long time ago. We made friends. This is when we were all 18. And then we went on a trip to Austria together. We met up in the Atlanta airport. We traveled to Austria for some poker tournament. And it was a lot of fun. We became great friends.
Wow,
now he's
yeah.
a coach on my training site on pokercoaching.com.
Well, there you go.
He actually
Okay.
made a very detailed review of this BetMGM tournament that I think he won or took second place or topped it or something. But he goes through all of the hands. He analyzes them all. He points out mistakes he made and that other players made. And it's very educational. So check it out. There's all sorts of stuff on pokercoaching.com.
Wow. You guys might want to get some of that pokercoaching.com. Sounds like a lot of interesting stuff that you do on there.
It's essentially the training site that I wish existed for young Jonathan Little when I didn't know anything, but also present day Jonathan Little. I hire a lot of the best players in the world to make content for me so that I can learn, right? Like I want to be learning from Shannon Shore and all the other great players. And that's what it's designed to do.
All right, I'm going to give you a little prep thing here. This is serious. So far, everyone that's came on my podcast is won. I think you might be the next guy to win in your next tournament because Christy was on my show. She won the thing the other day. Lucky Chewy came on my show, and he won the very first event. So hey,
I better play a big one next time, is what you're trying to tell
well,
me.
Shannon won a couple times too. He won like 3 times now.
Shannon's been on fire.
Yeah,
He has made a point to dedicate a lot of effort to getting good at poker recently,
yeah,
and he's doing great. Happy for him.
yeah. I am too. Here's another thing. I mean, like I said, it's not always about Poker Go, but I've dealt you in Poker Go with the other guys, but you guys don't seem to ever get pissed at each other. It's like you're one big family. Not like, hey, what the fuck you call that? Hey, what the hell? I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
Well, I
Have you?
mean,
Have you seen anybody ever argue or fight about that?
not so much. I mean, I think everybody's kind of over that. They realize everyone is just trying to play their best, or get their gamble on, whatever they're doing. And you have to realize when you go to play poker, you are incentivized to try to take your opponent's money in whatever way you can within the rules of the game. You're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So if I'm supposed to do that and you're supposed to do that, why would I get mad if you do that? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're supposed to try to beat me. And if they beat me in a dumb way, fine, right? I realize I just made money here. I want you to do it again in the future. Because even if you get it in and you get unlucky, you extracted value. You just didn't get it today.
Yeah, they talk about the respect that they want. I've talked to Jim about it, Jim Calapi. He goes, we all respect each other.
Yeah.
We want them to play their A game. We
I don't
want
know about
them.
that.
Well, he says because it makes them better.
Sure.
That when it's not like, well, he's my buddy. I'm gonna just check it down. Shit.
Oh, no. There's none of that.
None. That's what I'm getting at. No one does none of that.
Well, why would you? You're trying to win money.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. When I asked him that question, he was saying, "Well, Clyde," he goes, "We respect each other's play. We expect the best out of them." So, I mean, I would think like, let's say me and your best friends, and I'm in a hand with you. I'm like, I don't want to knock out my buddy. I'm gonna fold here. You know what I mean? I ain't saying it happens in the poke world, but I could see. All right, I'm gonna check. He's gonna check because I don't want to knock him out. Have you ever felt like that or no?
No. So look, people play games for all sorts of reasons, but the three main reasons people play games. Most people play games for fun and to pass time.
Okay.
And that kind of person would not want to bust their friend because that would be a mean thing to do, right? Other people like to push the boundaries of the games. They like to run big bluffs or make big folds or make big hero calls, whatever. And then about 1 to 2% of game players play the game to actually try to win the game. 98, 99% of game players don't care if they win. They think they do, but they don't devote their life to it. They don't play hard. They're playing for other reasons, and that's okay. But in the Poker Go studio, you are playing with that 1% of players who only care about winning. To the point they're going to devote their life to it. They're going to work hard. They're going to do their absolute best. They don't care if they bust their friend. They're supposed to bust their friend.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of player who makes it to the top of basically every competitive endeavor. The people who only care about winning.
Well, I tell you what, this is weird, but I just think you're gonna win a bracelet at the World Series this year.
I mean, I might.
No, I'm serious.
I'll do my
I
best.
think you're gonna do it.
It's finally time.
Do you play the 1500s and the 2000s or just the bigger ones?
Mostly just the bigger ones, but I might get them play some 1500s every now and then.
Yeah.
You know the problem with 1500s is the venue is so busy. It is so jam-packed with people. You got to wait in a big line to go to the bathroom. You got to wait in a big line to get food. You can't walk around in there so well. You got to beat 4,000 players to win. It's hard to win a 4,000 person tournament. And also, you got to realize if you're playing a $1,500 buy-in tournament, say you're going to make 30% return on investment. Let's just pretend, which is probably a decent win rate. You're going to make $450 or $500 playing that tournament on average. So, is it worth it for me to get up and go to the venue and play for, let's say, 6 hours on average for $500, $80 an hour, give or take? And I think I can do better making training content than $80 an hour. So it becomes like an hourly rate thing.
Okay.
Imagine if I think I make $300 an hour making training content. Why would I possibly go play for $80 an hour? Except for their prestige, right? And I remember a long time ago, I played every World Poker Tour tournament. I did not miss any. I somehow had a lot of prestige wrapped up in the fact that I'm one of their better players, and I'm going to try to win as many of these things as I can. But eventually, I guess life started happening. I started skipping some, and I realized it really doesn't matter all that much. If you have 2 titles or 3 titles, nobody cares. And if you have 1 bracelet or 0, nobody cares. And except for maybe you, but you have to ask, why do I care about this thing? And I think I stopped caring about things a long time ago to some extent, and then you inevitably do get some things. You get some trophies, right? But I'm not going to like try to force it at my own detriment, especially if I do care about making money, or it's like more important to me to help my training site be better than it is for me to go play poker, because I don't really care about playing poker so much. I play plenty of poker, and also I don't really care if I get a bracelet, because I think at the end of the day it's just another tournament. So for that reason, I go and play when I think it is a good hourly rate. Also, when I think it's going to be good publicity for the training site, because if you play a 4,000 person tournament, odds you final table are pretty low. And nobody really cares how you do till you make the final table anyway. Right. And then if it's a random side event at the World Series, they're not going to stream it, they're not going to televise it, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to put you on the side table. So yeah, you win, yeah, you get a bracelet, it's fine and good. But I don't think it matters that much. And so then I'll go play like the $10,000 tournaments where maybe you make 10% return on investment or 15%. Now you get paid $1,500 for the day instead of $500, which gets you closer to a decent return on investment. But I'm in a weird spot where I have other opportunities in life to make more money than just playing poker, right? A lot of poker players only play poker. That's all they want to do. And for that reason, $80 an hour may be the best they can possibly do on that day. And they may also have a lot of pride and prestige wrapped up in getting a bracelet, because like, I realize that's a lot of poker players' dreams. And you just have to be careful that things that are prestige-driven or pride-driven don't make you do things in life that don't make logical sense at all.
Well, back to the bracelet thing. A lot of players that have a bunch of bracelets, and this is true here, because they're buying into bigger buy-ins where they only got to beat 200 players instead of 5,000 players. So I could see if you're buying more into the 5,000 no limit hold'em or the 3,000 six max, because it's less players than that get in that. Am I right? Is that how you look at it?
I view more of it as, what is my return on investment in this event?
So that's your main thing. Okay.
What is the hourly rate I expect to get in this? Because in reality, imagine the bracelet is worth something. Let's say you put a monetary value on a bracelet. How much is a bracelet worth to you? Let's just pretend.
Be a miracle. It'd be something I want. I mean, whether it's...
But what's it worth monetarily?
I did it. I wanted it. I got it.
That's not a money value.
But I know, but money-wise...
Is it worth $1 million? $10,000?
I would say, yeah, it'd be worth like $100,000 if I want to brace it.
Fine. Let's say there are 1,000 players in the tournament. Odds you're going to get it is 1 in 1,000, roughly.
Okay.
So you take that 100,000, divide it by 100,000. Is that right? Basically, I think the bracelet there is worth $1,000 extra added value. I don't know. Somebody do the math. You need to divide that money by every player in the field, and you're going to find it's not worth that much added value.
Oh, I see.
Because you don't get it very often. You get it 1 in 1,000.
I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, check my math. Sorry.
No, I understand what you're getting at. Finally, this old brain. You got to divide that
value by the odds you get it, and then you add that to whatever you expect you're going to win, and it's probably not worth all that much. And to be fair, a bracelet for Jonathan Little, poker training site owner, is probably worth more for me than it is for most people, because I can promote it, right? So if anything, that should make me even more incentivized to go play the tournaments. But if it's a 4,000 person tournament, you're just not going to win very often. You're just not. And I don't know. That's how I view these things.
I get what your thinking is. Yes.
I mean, a long time ago,
if you can't win enough profit, why even get in the damn thing?
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying.
Also, during the World Series, there's a bunch of tournaments, so you don't want to necessarily burn yourself out. Because if you're going to be out here for 2.5 months playing everything, you will get tired and you will get burned out. So you want to make sure you're somewhat refreshed. And as you get older, I'm 40 years old now, you do want a little bit more rest than when you're younger. I remember a long time ago, I wrote a blog post. They had a World Series of Poker Europe event. And then they had an event at like Foxwoods or somewhere. And I decided to go to the Foxwoods tournament. And people are like, why aren't you going to World Series Europe? And it's because I did the math. I figured out how much I would be able to buy in for. I estimated my return on investment. And even though the buy-ins were bigger at the World Series Europe, you got to pay more money to go. You have to spend more time traveling. And out the door, I thought I would make roughly the same amount of money from both events. Even though the World Series was like way more prestigious, let's call it.
Right.
I thought I'd make the same amount of money. I thought it'd be way easier and I'd have to buy in for less, so I'd have less variance. And that's how I'm thinking about which tournament series to play and which events to play for the most part.
How many events do you think you're going to play in this year's World Series?
Oh, man, I don't even know.
Don't even know?
I don't even know. I mean, something every day if I'm here, right? So.
Well, I thought you lived out here.
Every day, right? I'm out here a decent amount of the time. I don't know, man, 30, 40, 50, I don't know.
Wow.
It depends on how bad I do.
They said there's going to be over 100.
The more you play, the worse you have done typically, because it means you bust and you can re-enter,
Oh.
bust and re-enter, bust and re-enter. You don't want to play that many. You want to play like 18. It means you're making a bunch of day threes.
Well, I'm like Barney Fife. I've said this before too. I'm a one bullet man. I don't
man,
know if you remember that show or not.
The re-entries
Pretty
are
good.
an interesting concept, right? Because the logic is that if you buy in last second, you have maybe 10% return on investment just because you're close to getting in the money already.
Yeah, they do that at Poker Go all the time.
Yeah, I don't particularly like it. I think they should probably limit late buy-ins.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, that's the rules that we are currently playing under, and I get why the casinos want to do it so they can rake more from the players. But you have to be careful buying in late if the rake is very high at the World Series of Poker. The rake is often quite high, especially in the smaller buy-in events. So definitely pay attention to that. But in the bigger buy-in events where the rake is kind of minimal, or like at Poker Go Studio, they take like 3% or 4%. It's like not a lot. Buying in late is usually quite a good strategy. It feels pretty dirty to me to go there and sit down with 15 big blinds or something, get it all in the first hand and just be out. But if you know you're going to make $500 for playing an hour, it's a good deal.
Well, yeah. Well, I see it because I work over there. I see them coming in on the last second, the chance to get in, to buy in. And when I've noticed that they look and see what the average chip count is. And more than likely, they could buy in, double up one time right off the bat, and they're at least at average chips, if not more. Because, you know, that many players really knocked out, but there's so many new players that jump in knowing, oh, wow, look at this. There's 19 people left. 14 get paid. Hell, I'm going to jump in. I'm 5 away from the money. They do this. I'm telling you, I see it.
Usually it's not that close to getting in the money.
But you know what I mean, yeah.
Well, think about it. If they can buy in and then double up to get average, it means that half the field's been eliminated.
Yeah.
Right? So then they'll be down to 50%, so then they have to outlast 2/3 of the field more. So it's not just easy to get one double up and then you're in the money. But that is not a bad strategy. I mean, it is what it is.
That's what a lot of them do.
Also, in terms of studying the game, a lot of the, well, I'm not going to say the best players, but a lot of online players have really only made a point to study like 40 big blind and shallower poker. They don't study deep stacked at all because they buy in late. They get super good at playing 15 big blind stacks and 20 big blind stacks and 30 big blind stacks. And they don't care about studying deep stacked at all, which is very difficult. It's a kind of different game. So you will see some players who show up at the Poker Go Studio last second, they don't buy in on time ever. They only show up last second because they only know how to play 20 big blind poker. At least that's where they feel very comfortable.
Yeah, okay. But let's talk about the WSOP here, though. When you buy into there and you buy in late, I personally feel, because I've played in the 1500s, no limits, and some of the other events, the Millionaire Maker and all that. I feel if I'm not in there early right off the bat, I'm missing out on dead money.
I like
bad players. So I never like to go in late. I always want to be there right at the beginning because why would I want to not win the dead money? Because not everyone's going to be. As you go deeper in the tournament, that's usually where the better players are.
Well, pause. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Let's think about that. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
When you buy in early in a World Series tournament and you have 200 big blinds, let's just pretend.
Okay.
How many big blinds on average do you think you're going to win per hour?
Wow, that's a damn good question.
Let's say you're
wow.
Let's say you're good.
Not
You're going to
many.
win. Let's say you're going to win 20 big blinds on
That's
average.
a lot.
It is. That's 1/10 of a starting stack. Okay. So
Okay.
let's say you show up and you buy in for $1,000 tournament. You're going to get $100 of profit in that first 2 or 3 or 4 hours, the deep stacked period.
Okay.
Is that a good deal for you to go and play for, let's say, 3 hours and make $100? You're making $33 an hour. Is that a good deal for you? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But also, you have to realize you may not be playing purely to make money. You're playing because you love the game. You want to try to get a bracelet. You like the World Series, you like being in the action. So you get some other value than straight money value, right? Maybe maybe you'd play $20 an hour to play. You would be happy to lose $20 an hour.
I just want to play. Yeah.
So you have to realize that people play for different reasons, right? And you enjoy being there, right? And so, you'd be thrilled to play for $0 an hour.
I just didn't want to interrupt you because I've listened to getting the point you're getting across. Because I remember when I first started playing in the World Series, I was just happy to play in the damn thing.
Yeah.
But now when I get in it, I'm happy to play, but I want to win so bad to say, hey, look, I'm holding up a trophy. I'm holding up money. I finally won one of these damn things. But I could see people being excited just to play in the game because of the prestige of the
Sure.
game.
But you got
And
to
they're
realize,
not
though,
thinking like you're thinking about,
no,
if I'm only going to win this, why not get this? They're thinking, I want to play.
right. So imagine you buy in last second, though, and you think you're going to make that same 10% buying in last second, but you only got to play an hour on average because you're usually going to lose because you only buy in with 12 big blinds or whatever it is. You make $100 an hour for that 1 hour. So, do you want to go make $30 an hour for the beginning levels of the tournament or not? And a lot of poker players who've been playing for 20 years, they don't want to be playing poker all day, every day. They've done it. They've played plenty of poker in their life. And so they'd rather play the minimum amount possible.
Wow.
And so that's a way to still extract value and play the minimum. That's not what I do. I show up on time as well for the most part.
I'm always on time.
Because, if
I don't like that crap. I don't like that.
You also have to consider like commuting time, right? Like if I'm going to go commute anyway, do I really want to commute for only 1 hour of work on average? Or would I rather commute for 4 hours of work, even if those 4 hours of work are not as valuable? So you got to consider that. I mean, a lot of people don't consider any of this. This stuff I consider. So that's what I'm thinking about.
Jonathan, when I know I'm going to go play a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the WSOP, the night before, I make sure I'm in bed early. I get good rest because I'm expecting to grind all damn night. Okay.
And maybe the next few days.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I prep myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I also what I do is I buy in before the buy-in.
Yeah.
Then
you don't want to wait.
I'm not in that long fucking line.
Well, World Series has done a really
That
good
line
job.
could be.
They've done a really good job of letting you buy in with a kiosk recently. So
Oh,
you
that
can,
too, yes.
Like what I do is I'll just wire them a bunch of money at the beginning of the series. You go to the cage one time, they put it in your account, then you can buy in on your phone, and you just go and print your ticket, which is awesome because that line is awful. You do not want to be waiting in a line because when you're waiting in a line, you probably don't like waiting in lines. Most people don't like waiting in lines. You may have annoying people behind you or in front of you who you don't really want to listen to. If you do have to wait in line, take a headphones, listen to a podcast or something, read a book. Make sure you try to make good use of your time. I mean, this happens to cash game players too, especially during the World Series where you have to go get on a waiting list to play cash games. Make good use of your time while you're waiting. Don't just sit around being annoyed that you are waiting because then you're going to sit down to the poker table annoyed. And that's not good. You want to be in a great mindset when you sit down at the table. So always make good use of your waiting time.
You know, when Moneymaker won the main event, and before that there was poker, but it wasn't. He jump started it. Who would ever thought it would get to where it is today, with all these different events? And like I said, this year there's over 100 events you can get in, and poker has just boomed. I don't ever see it dying. Do you? I think it's just going to get bigger. I mean, bigger too. I mean, every year at the World Series, they're adding more events. We're up to 100 this time.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's getting bigger. That means the casino wants to take more rake.
Okay.
Very different concept here because everybody's not going to be able to come at the exact same time or whatever, right? And the World Series has learned over the years is why have one event per day when you can have two? Why have two when you can have three? Why have three when you can have a whole bunch of side events as well?
Yeah.
Because especially in the smaller stakes games, they really are raking a ton, which is, they're allowed to make money, their business. But you can't think they're having more tournaments, therefore poker is booming. No, they're having more tournaments so they can make more money.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, casinos are businesses. They are trying to extract your money just like your opponents are at the poker table. And the casino pretty much always wins. So they want to play as many games as they can play. Just like good players want to play as many hands they can, they want to deal as many hands they can. And if people will show up, even if the numbers happen to be down on each event, they don't really care that much because they're running 1.5 times as many tournaments.
I tell you what, when I'm not playing, I just love poker. I go watch it at the WSOP. And I remember when it was over at the Rio, and some of the pros would buy in 2 or 3 different tournaments and run from one on to another. I don't know if they can still do that, but they used to do that. Run from one tournament over to the next tournament and play it for a while, and then jump back on. Do they allow that now or what? That used to happen.
I'm sure I presume they still allow it. People would do that because they would have bracelet bets or who cashes for the most in the series type of bets. And they're willing to sacrifice expected value in each tournament in exchange for being able to buy in for more money on average, right? So that's not a good strategy at all if you care about making money in
I,
the individual tournaments. But they're not playing for the individual tournament, they're playing for some other weird incentive structure. Like who gets the most bracelets? You clearly want to play as many events as you can. Even if you can buy in with 3 big blinds, it's probably worth it if your bracelet bet's big enough. I try to not get involved in all that stuff though. That's a lot of egos clashing, and it forces you again to do things that you may not necessarily want to do. Like I don't want to be playing poker all day every day at the World Series. Some people love it, but I want to
yeah,
have an off day whenever I want an off day.
yeah.
So that's not really my jam.
Here's another thing I hear the pros do. They all got their little group they're with sometimes, but like for example, me and you buddies here, we're gonna go play in a 3,000 limit hold'em. I, I'll give you 10%. You give me 10%.
Sure.
Do you do a lot of that too?
Not so much. Maybe deep in very large field tournaments, I may swap some percentage because there's still a lot of variance. Like say in the World Series main event, say you're close to getting in the money and you and your friend both have 10 starting stacks. Maybe you swap a few percent then.
Okay.
But I don't like having to keep track of a lot of stuff that's not that valuable. So if I do swap pieces with people in the main event, it'll only be if we cash for like 50,000 or more, to where it's actually worth collecting.
Yeah.
Because imagine you swap 5% with somebody and they cash for
Min cash.
15,000.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow up and try to get my $750, right?
Yeah.
It's like a pain. And again, but this goes back to people swapping for different reasons. A lot of people are thrilled to get that min cash in their opponent because they got the sweat in, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to sweat. I don't want to pay attention. I got so much stuff going on. I want the least amount of clutter in my brain. And making lots of little swaps with a lot of people is a way to have a lot of clutter in your brain. One year, I backed a bunch of people at the World Series. And in the main event, I think I had like 150 people I had little pieces of.
Wow.
Like, 2 or 3 or 4% of each.
Right.
And it was a logistical headache. I would have to show up and give people money every day. I'd have to deal with collecting money at the end of the series. One person cashed for a lot, and I had to hope they paid me. They did, but it's just a mess. It's not worth the effort for me. And I don't want the sweat. I don't want to be distracted. I've learned that I play poker way better when I'm not distracted by much of anything. Other poker players, they're distracted by all sorts of stuff. They'll be betting on sports, reading a book, playing on their phones, and trying to play poker at the same time. I don't like that. I realize I'm plenty distracted with poker coaching site and life in general, but I try to have a clean plate when I go to play poker.
All right. I see that you mainly think about this is what I'm getting from you, that you don't want to get in the tournament unless your risk reward is worth it. That's number one. Is that right?
Sure.
So that's the number one thing you think about? Because why get in it? Okay,
why get
that's
in
what
it?
I thought.
What's the purpose of playing in general?
Okay.
And if I'm not playing for fun, because I don't really play for fun at this point, I'm playing to make money and to promote the training site. I want to make sure I can make money and promote the training site.
Here's another question for you. I got a bunch of them. If I could, I'm so much in deep thought listening to what you're telling me, what you're teaching me, I should say. What is the most fun you've ever had at a poker table when you've played?
I like playing with Chino Ream. Just the other day, I was playing with Chino in the Poker Go studio, and he's like standing up in his chair, sweating his cards. He'll do this thing where we will play, and at the end of each hand, the winners and the losers have to combine their hand, and then 2 cards get shown at random.
Yeah.
That's fun,
Yeah, it is.
So I have a lot of fun in the Poker Go studio, which is why I mostly go play there. I really don't play a whole lot of other places besides the Poker Go studio because everyone kind of knows each other. We all have good rapport. We're all mostly good people. And I don't know if it's like the most fun I've ever had, but it's certainly fun on average. It's definitely way more fun for me to play there than anywhere else.
That's why I love dealing over there. I'm glad I get chosen to deal over there. And you know who else is funny as hell over there is Ren Lin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Lady Gaga.
God. I've got to get him on my podcast. I think it's going to be a blast if he comes. Yeah. You're professional when he says that. I love it.
The other day I tried to bluff him, and he called me, and I lost. He gets up, walks over to me, and I already know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So I put out my hand, and he slaps it because,
yeah,
bad boy.
Yeah.
He gets up. As soon as he stands up, I'm like, oh. So I lose the pot. I get slapped on the hand. That's fun,
I know. It's
but
great.
that would piss off a lot of people in a regular casino.
Exactly, it would.
Could you imagine if I try to bluff a guy in a regular casino, the guy laughs at me, says to me I make a bad bluff, then he gets up and wants to slap my hand? That would never fly. But in the Poker Go studio, that's the kind of rapport we have with each other there. And look, he probably doesn't do it to everybody, but we're friendly. We like each other. It's a good time. And if people want to play in the Poker Go studio, they've been making the first event of each series something like a $5,000 tournament, which is smaller than a lot of the other events. and they have satellites to that tournament usually a day or two before, so people can get in for $500, and that makes those 5,000s the very first event of most series good value and a lower price point, so people can get in there and get a taste of that experience. And I would recommend that to anybody who just happens to be in Vegas. Then you might have to get in there.
I've tried to get. I actually got to play in one of the $10,000 Ultimate events there. I know I qualified. I don't think I laid down the 10 grand. Won a satellite, and then I got busted out of it with actually a 2-outer. But I don't want to say what happened.
You
again.
remember these bad beats too much. You got to let these go.
Sad. It's really
let
bad.
It go. Let it go.
I have, but it's just sick that it keeps happening. But
well, I bubbled all my biggest tournaments.
I did get to play in it. They interviewed me before the tournament because, hey, Clyde, the dealer's in the hand. So, but I get a thrill out of that just playing against you guys.
For sure.
And, I love all of you. I mean, let's get real. I love the game. But I got to play and sit next to Daniel Negreanu. All right? First time ever. Now, needless to say, I watch a lot of poker. I know what's going on. I'm not like some rookie, believe me. But I get in the hand with Daniel. He's sitting on my right here, and I'm slow playing a good hand. And the king gets flopped. I got ace king. He bets out, and I raise him. And, I know he doesn't have nothing on me yet because he doesn't even know how I play yet. But he came back, folded back around to him, and he's showing me the king, and I'm looking at him, and he lays it down. He had a king too. Okay?
That's annoying.
Now, because he's standing on the ground, I showed him my hand. All right? But
you should probably do the opposite.
I know, but just because I love Daniel,
sure,
I got to do that just to play a hand with this guy. I mean, this guy, do you realize the pressure Daniel has with really the whole poker world, how much he's loved, and now with Doyle being gone, you can't tell me sometimes he doesn't want to blow up because someone's done something wrong,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't think he's okay with everything?
He's competitive. He wants to win, but I don't think he's a baby.
No, I ain't saying that.
We did see him slam down his phone one time and almost break David Peters' head or whatever it was.
I don't think he's a baby. What I'm getting at is he's like the poker ambassador now. I mean, he's the main guy, right? Isn't he the main guy?
Yeah, but he also recognizes you can't control when you win. He is a legitimate professional poker player. He's probably thinking about the stuff a lot like I do, where he's going to show up and play his absolute best.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a podcast. I think it's called Mania Podcast. Check it out. It's good. He talks about how, if he doesn't feel like playing, he just doesn't play.
Yeah.
Which is abnormal. A lot of poker players force themselves to play.
He did not play the last two Poker Go Cup.
Probably didn't feel like it.
Neither did you.
Didn't feel like it.
One of you did.
Right. So...
But, he's just a great guy. I just love that guy. I mean...
But what do you mean, think him feeling pressure or getting mad? He doesn't care.
Because I don't mean in the Poker Go studio. I don't mean in there. I mean wherever he travels around the world.
He's not traveling very much. He's kind of like me. He don't want to get up and go. He's happy in the Poker
I don't
Go
know
studio.
where he's... I don't know what he actually does. I just know that he's like the ambassador now because everybody looks up to him.
Sure.
That's what I'm getting at. And because of that, I think that would be pressure not to ever blow up in a hand or something. Because, it's just the way I'm thinking. Maybe it's wrong, but I just think there's a lot of pressure being like the main guy to me. That would be a lot.
Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I know I
maybe
feel this on a lesser extent at the World Series of Poker because maybe I'll sell, for the main event last year, I think I sold $10 pieces to something like, let's say 100 people. So it was $1,000 worth of my main event action.
Okay.
I sold $10 pieces, little sprinkles, little tiny snacks, bite-sized snacks. And I made a deep run. I think I busted in 500th plate, 50th plate. I don't even know what I did. Some 500th plates or something. But getting deep, I'm already cashing for $50K or something. I'm like, oh, I might win this tournament and get to pay out a bunch of little snacks to people. And you feel the pressure of wanting to make all of your fans proud and happy. But at the same time, I'm just going to show up and play good poker. I don't think that's going to impact the way I play or really the way I act. If anything, it makes me hyper aware of not being a jerk at the table or blowing up at the table, because then I look like a jerk. I don't want people to think I'm a jerk, because I'm not a jerk.
No, you're not.
But
You're
like
not.
when poker does go poorly, I realize sometimes you get the absolute worst
That's what I'm
of
saying.
people.
Even though he may take a beat like that, he doesn't snap and blow up.
Well, why would he? He's a professional.
That's what I'm just saying. That would be hard to do every day when the spotlight on you. But you was mentioning a snack a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Do you like it when I pass you a snack?
I wish you did it more.
Because guess what?
Guess what?
We're almost to the end here, and I'm about ready to give you a snack, brother.
Oh, boy.
I want to thank you for coming by. A lot of knowledge. Once again, if you want to buy this book. And what about your poker?
Check out pokercoaching.com/fundamentals for a free crash course to make you better than your poker playing friends.
There you go. You want to get into poker, that's the answer. And like I said, I want to thank you for the book, being on the show. And guess what? Here's your snack there. Here you go.
Thank
you.
you.
Got yourself a snack there, buddy.
You.
I knew that, sure you. Wow, you can buy in the next tournament. All right, everyone, listen, like I appreciate everybody listening and watching. And may God bless you, and there's more coming. Thank you very much for watching.